and not see the reasons why a food storage is necessary. The very first reason I could find, however, was a quote from President Brigham Young in the Deseret News on July 18th of 1860. He said, "If you were without bread, how much wisdom can you boast? And of what real utility are your talents, if you cannot procure for yourselves, and save against today's scarcity, those substances designed to sustain your natural life?" I myself have learned the hard way about the importance of having food storage. Before I knew about the church and about Provident Living, there were times in my life where literally the only food in my house was either ramen noodles or cabbage soup. TV today has given many people preconceived notions about what food storage actually means. When you look at shows like Extreme Couponing, Hoarders, or Apocalypse Planners, it's all too easy to look at what they're doing and say, can I build up a food storage without breaking my budget, without renovating my home, and have what I need? And the answer to those is simply yes. And today we're going to find out how. After I joined the church, I started hearing about the idea of food storage. And my first question was how? How do I do this? And over these last 2 years, I finally learned how to accomplish it. Of course, the church has provided an education on how to do this. And there's a pamphlet that they provide. It's called All Is Safely Gathered In. You may have seen it. And I've seen and heard a quick and easy summary that's simply remarkable. It's from President Gordon B. Hinckley, and it was in a speech he gave entitled "To the Men of the Priesthood." It's in the November 2002 Ensign. President Hinckley summarizes food storage in one quick paragraph. "The best place to have some food set aside is within our homes, together with a little money in savings. The best welfare program is in our own welfare program. 5 or 6 cans of wheat in the home are better than a bushel in the welfare granary. We can begin with 1 week's food supply and gradually build it to a month, then to 3 months. I'm speaking now of food to cover basic needs." That's in a nutshell. Start with building up a week's supply, increase it to a month, increase the 1 month to 3 months, increase the 3 months to 6 months, increase the 6 months to 1 year. You don't need to do it all at once. And we're talking about building up basic needs, not extravagance. The first step in building up that 1 week supply is planned smart shopping. And that's the basic key. Planned smart shopping. You're building up your supply slowly, and the first step is to plan a menu. That sounds so basic, and if you're like me, the first thing I hear about menu planning is, I said I didn't want to do it. And the simple reason I didn't want to do it is when I heard about the idea of a menu plan, I went back to my childhood and I thought, what if I don't want chicken on Monday? And what if I don't want meatloaf on Tuesday? I don't feel like being constrained like that, because sometimes I look at the menu and I'm like, that's not what I want to eat. Well, guess what? That's not what it actually means. It means that you're thinking about what you might want to eat over the next period, whatever period of time you're shopping for. If maybe you're planning a menu for a week, maybe you're planning for 2 weeks, maybe you're planning for a month, whatever period of time you're going to be shopping for. And just because chicken is written down on Monday doesn't mean that you're eating chicken on Monday. You can rearrange the days. You have that freedom. It's your choice. But what it does mean is that all those materials are going to be in your home. And you don't have to go out to the store to get them. They're going to be available. And it also means that you're going to write down everything you need to shop for on that menu. And when you get to the store, look for things on sale. First of all, you're going to know how much extra you're allowed to spend in your budget. And when things are on sale, buy extra for your food storage. A good example is this last time when I went shopping, my store had pasta noodles on sale. I bought a few extra, spent an extra $5, and put it in my food storage. Pasta is a great long-term item because it keeps well. Keep an eye out for flour, sugar, honey, dried beans. Those are also great long-term items. You can also take that a little bit of extra and keep setting it aside for bulk purchases at a warehouse store, at the cannery, or at LDS, or where they'll actually ship you a case of items. But keep in mind, please don't buy items that you're not going to eat. That's a waste of money. A good example in my personal life is something that was actually mentioned by President Hinckley. He mentioned wheat. I don't own a flour mill. I don't have any way to grind wheat into flour. And at this point in my life, I have actually not figured out how to cook wheat into something that I can actually eat. So at this point, it's not in my food storage. That's actually something I'm looking at experimenting with when I have a little more time, is finding out if that's something that I can make into an edible food. But since right now it's not in my food storage, because that would be a waste of both space and of money. As you're building up your food storage, pay attention to your expiration dates, please. You don't need 3 months worth of food that's inedible. Food does go bad. Food does need to be rotated. So especially if you're using a non-traditional storage area, make sure that you're rotating the older food into your active area where you're cooking. About those non-traditional storage areas. If you're lucky enough to have all your food in one area, that's great. If you're like me, where you live in a smaller space, it's time to look for some unused space. A great examples of unused spaces are bottom of closets, under the beds. Most closets are built long and narrow, and the only thing we have in that 2 feet at the bottom of the closets under our coats are shoes and maybe some backpacks. If you get some food safe, sturdy plastic containers, especially those great ones with the drawers that pull out in the bottom, you can actually stack 2 or 3 of those in the bottom, put a shelf on top of those to put those shoes and backpacks on, and now you have 2 or 3 shelves where you can store more food. Underneath the bed is the same thing. You can put 2 or 3 of those containers facing out where you can get to the drawers, and you've created more space for food. If you're lucky enough to have a closet that can either be rearranged into other areas, or for some reason isn't being used to its full capacity, maybe turn that closet into a pantry. If you're looking at using garage or attic space, please be aware of extreme temperatures. Extreme temperatures can cause food that's been canned to spoil. Extreme temperatures can cause moisture to build up in dry goods and cause it to mold. So please be aware of those factors and take appropriate measures. In conclusion, the importance of having food storage cannot be overstressed. The safety and security of your family in the case of an economic or natural disaster cannot be overlooked. The prophet himself, Spencer W. Kimball, in August of 1976, has said, "We want you to be ready with a personal storehouse filled with at least a year's supply. You don't argue about why it cannot be done. You just plan to organize and get it done." Thank you so much.